What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise Postgame show powered by BetUS. Today, the Blazers dominate the Magic again, just like they did about a week ago, as they win by 29, 119 to 90. The Blazers have now won 6 out of 7 games and moved to 19 and 29 on the season. And they look freaking phenomenal right now. Freaking phenomenal. We're going to break it all down here on the post-game show. And we're also going to reveal our big boards, our latest big boards on this post-game show as well. Although, as far as the draft goes, Eric, how's it going? Is it time to give up on the tank?
Yeah, we're going to win the championship. We're that good. And, yeah, I just heard before I turned the TV off that this is the best 7-game stretch of Chauncey Billups' coaching career in 4 seasons. So congrats to Chauncey on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is a fascinating stretch of basketball for so many reasons, all right? You got the trade deadline a week from today. Does this affect their trade deadline plans? Does this affect their plans on what they do with Chauncey Billups? Is Chauncey saving his job? I mean, the long-term stuff that could come from this streak of basketball is monumental, but it's cool to see young guys play well. It's cool to see Scoot and Sharp both cook in this game. That was a lot of fun to watch, and Ayton had himself a decent effort game, and look how good this team is when Ayton freaking tries, but this is the DeAndre Ayton experience. For a portion of the season, he'll play hard and he'll be really solid, and it's only for a portion of the season. So, really good game from him tonight as well. 22 points for Ayton. Sharp and Scoot both lead the team with 23 points. Scoot 7 assists as well, as he gets the start today because Jeremy Grant was out due to injury. So this is going to be a fun post-game show. I'm looking forward to it. I don't even know where to start with this one, man. I mean, this team is playing really good defense. I guess we can start there. Holding the Magic to 90 points in this one. They held the Magic to 79 points a few games ago. They held the Bucks to 112 a couple nights ago. They held the Thunder to, 108? And the Blazers recently are performing like a top-tier defense in the league. What goes into that? What went into that tonight? Was part of it Orlando looked stagnant because I thought they did. I thought they were very stagnant. It kind of looked like some of the Blazer offenses we lament, where they just don't have much movement, but they need more scoring. But let's give credit to the Blazers defense. Eric, what has gone into their defense lately and how well that they've been able to play on that side of the ball?
Well, I mean, I think starting Denny and Timani at the forward spot has a huge impact on that. I feel like the guards, Sharp was much better defensively this game than we talked about. Scoot has just improved immensely on defense. Anthony is giving effort, and I actually thought, Ayton's defense was pretty much the top reason we got down 10-0, and he was like awful at the beginning of this game, and I was like, oh, great. Like, not another awful Ayton game. But overall, he's been playing okay defense. Had some really good moments the previous game. And, Klingon hasn't played a ton when he doesn't start. But, he's had some foul trouble, but he's also played well on defense. Jabari's been getting a lot of steals and stuff and playing well on defense when he's come in. Trying to think who else tonight. But, it's just, like, pretty much everyone's playing solid defense. I don't necessarily think we're doing much scheme-wise. Orlando, when they did cut or have a backdoor screen or whatever, they had a lot of success in this game. They just didn't do it very often and went one-on-one too much. Didn't pass the ball a lot. And that plays right into a defense like Portland. It makes it really easy to stop. So this game in particular and the last game against Orlando, I just feel like they just don't play the right way to take advantage of our defensive schemes. But like you mentioned, overall they've been playing good defense against pretty much every team. So I mean, maybe that's just who we are now, Tori. We're just a good defensive team.
Yeah, so I think the biggest difference that I'm noticing is we're just getting beat off the dribble less. I think the recipe for beating the Blazers earlier in the season was you could just beat guys off the dribble and then force a rotation and then kick out, and the Blazers are really bad at rotating. I think the Blazers are doing a much better job not getting stuck in rotations because they gave up dribble penetration. And I think that goes to everybody. Even the best defenders on this team, I think, are doing an even better job of keeping the ball in front of them while still remaining aggressive. Because that's the tough thing when you get aggressive and play up is it's easier to beat you off the dribble. We're not seeing much of that right now. We're seeing guys keep the ball in front of them. Scoot is doing a good job not getting beat to the rim, and if the offensive player does get a step, he's staying in the play, recovering well, competing on drives. And even if you do help and rotate, if you have the initial defender still, hanging on a driver, right, still on his hip, it's just going to make the right kick-out pass harder to make. I think there's times where teams have had the right kick-out pass, but the Blazers have done a good job kind of helping from those passing lanes. And, the thing is, if you get beat off the dribble, you can still stay in the play and still, help your helper, so to say, right? Somebody comes over across the paint, helps. If you're still in the play, you can tip a pass or maybe take away a pass. And I think that's the biggest thing is you're not seeing all this dribble penetration directly at the rim and then all these kick-out passes for wide-open corner threes. Now, Orlando, when they did have good threes in this game, they didn't make them. That certainly helps.
No, they make 5 threes the entire game.
Yeah, but I think that's a big reason why the Blazers lately statistically have not been giving up many threes, which is kind of shocking considering how aggressive they're playing. You would think, all right, you play aggressive, you're going to get beat, you're going to get stuck in rotations. That leads to open threes against teams that know how to move the ball. But they're just being competitive on the ball in a way that we have not seen in a long time from the Blazers, even during this rebuild, right? And it makes sense because you got guys that are gifted defensively. You got Kamara and Denny, of course, are phenomenal defensive pieces, but it's all the way down to guys like Sharp tonight, guys like Scoot tonight, right? And I think part of the reason they've been able to play good defense with DeAndre Ayton is you're not forcing him to protect all these straight line drives at him at the rim. And I think that has been huge. So going into the season, I said this team should be at least average defensively. I think they have average personnel. For whatever reason, they really struggled keeping the ball in front of them. They got beat off a ton of drives, and I think they've done a really good job of cleaning that up. And then I think they've started to rotate better as well when they get caught in rotations, rotating a little quicker. I think not having Jeremy Grant on the floor actually helps with that. I think he's one of the slowest rotators on the team. But even if they're not rotating all the way, like you see a lot of stunting, right? They'll stunt at the ball, give somebody else time to close out, and they're doing a little bit better job of scrambling defensively when they do break down. I think those two reasons are the main reason why they are doing a better job. And also the offense being better, they're turning over the ball less, so it's less fast breaks, less fast break points. I feel like the Blazers, when they get turnover happy, they give the other team a lot of confidence and momentum just off of the runouts off of those turnovers. So I think the Blazers have been a little bit cleaner there. So it's a bunch of little things kind of team-wise where they're just doing a lot of things better as a team right now. And they in the 6 wins and 7 games stretch, they haven't faced the best offenses. They faced the Orlando Magic twice. They're a bottom 5 offense in the league. They've faced the Bulls. They've faced I forget some of the other teams. The Bucks are a decent offense, but
Heat without Jimmy.
Yeah, Heat without. Well, no, Jimmy played in that game.
Did he?
Yeah, that was his last game before he got suspended.
Oh,
Charlotte. So it's like, on one hand, they're not playing the best offenses, but still, you definitely have seen some improvement. I misspoke. I thought they gave up 108. I thought they lost 108-98 against the Thunder. It was 118-108.
118,
yeah. But that's not even a bad number to give up to the Thunder, to be honest.
Yeah.
They are one of the best offensive teams in the league. So I think that's what's going into this defensive renaissance that the Blazers are on right now.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. You mentioned the fast break, not giving up many fast break points. At the same time, the Blazers are getting fast break points. And that leads to excitement. That leads to it just brings up the whole level of intensity and energy. And you can see it like it's palpable on the floor. Like you can watch someone like Scoot make a play in transition and then he hustles back on defense and is pumped up and gets in the passing lane again and stuff like that. Like it's really just a bump in energy level, and that's sometimes all you need to be a good defensive team, or at least a consistent defensive team, is just to have that energy on defense and that effort level. And that is something that hasn't been consistent under Chauncey Billups. It hadn't been consistent under Terry Stotts either. But lately, the energy level, the commitment to playing defense, it's just on another level. And I think Scoot deserves a lot of that credit. Denny as well, as guys who are making it exciting on offense, and that's leading to everyone playing more on defense as well. So got to give those two guys in particular, just in general, have ramped up our energy levels. Tamani's brought it all year. I don't think he's playing any different than he was, but I think those two guys, like, you can see what happens. We go on a run and Scoot's all going crazy and making all these plays and getting a steal on defense, and the whole team just seemed pumped up and they seemed like they were ready to go back down and get another stop. And that's the kind of attitude you have to be a good defensive team, especially when you're not used to being a good defensive team. You can make mistakes. A lot of teams will gamble and stuff like that, and you might miss it, or you might get completely picked on a screen. There was a screen earlier in this game where DeAndre didn't call it out, and Tamani got completely picked off, and what's his name? Franz got a dunk out of it. But that kind of like changed as the game went on. We got better at communicating. And when you make mistakes and stuff like that, it's how you respond to it. If you stand around and let yourself just stand there after getting screened or whatever, then you're never going to be a good defensive team. But if you like hustle back to get to a different player, hoping someone else picks up your rotation or whatever, like, you can make up for it just by sheer effort. And I think the energy level has just seen another level recently.
Yeah, I also think they're being mentally tougher, man, because what's some of the things that we critique this team with mentality-wise? One of them is they get up by a lot and they give up the lead because they soften up and don't play as hard, and they blow a ton of big leads. That's always been a theme under Chauncey Billups. Well, they have not done that when they've gotten double-digit leads lately, which I think is impressive. The other thing is, we've talked about how in the past they have not responded well to adversity, right? Things start to go bad. Guys start hanging their heads, making other mistakes defensively, and it has a snowball effect. And, not to pick on Nate, he had a good game today, but he's kind of the leader of that. But when his energy is better, I think other people's energies are better as well. But also it's like, you have Denny starting now. He has to start. Like, he changes the identity of this team. Scoot has to play a lot. He is right now maybe the second best player on this team. Scoot is playing that well the past month. The thing is with those two guys, they give the Blazers a sense of identity. And this is a running conversation that we've had for a long time about, all right, how do the Blazers want to play? What do they want to be good at? What do they want to emphasize in terms of their style of play? And it's always been scrappy defense and getting out and running, right? I think Scoot and Denny are the top two guys that help us towards that identity on both sides of the floor, because they both push the pace in a way that nobody else on this roster does, and they put pressure on the rim, they get downhill. And then defensively, man, they're scrapping. Denny plays hard all the time. Scoot, I can't remember the last time I was like, oh, that's a really bad effort play from Scoot. We had a bunch of those moments last year. You had a lot of moments talking about Scoot not running back on defense, walking back on defense, just like his energy being bad and that sort of thing. the thing is like Scoot. It seems like Scoot is finally taking charge in a way. Like, all right, I'm gonna. We talk about this all the time. Like, yes, this team is not good. They're 19-29, but instead of sitting there moping, not running back on defense because the team is struggling, set the tone yourself, right?
Yeah.
Hustle on defense, scrap on defense, right? Lift your teammates up, set that tone. And it felt like last year as a rookie and Scoot struggling and still getting used to the NBA, he kind of went the way the rest of the team went, which the rest of the team had a bunch of effort issues all year long, not running back on defense. Our transition defense was horrible. And this year, it just seems like Scoot, with him having another level of confidence and him starting to play well offensively, like he's finally taking charge defensively and pressuring guys, hustling, getting deflections, not getting beat off the dribble, competing if he gives up a step to the guy he's guarding. And that, I think, is absolutely beautiful to see because that's the first step in becoming a leader, is setting the tone on the floor. We know he's a vocal guy, but you can't be trying to lead a team and have effort lapses where your teammates are going to look at you like, all right, why are you trying to tell us what we should do? How can you motivate us when you're not even running back? You're not even giving effort. So for Scoot, man, I think it's wonderful, not only just how he's playing offensively right now, but the defense as well. Like, everything is taking a noticeable jump right now with Scoot Henderson, which is freaking sick. There's a tweet talking about how basically his percentage from every range, 0 to 3 feet, 3 to 10 feet, 10 to 16 feet, 16 feet to 3 and 3, like all those ranges, his efficiency is noticeably up this year. And his true shooting percentage going into this game was 55%. Last year was 49. That's a big step. He's taking better care of the ball, but the defense, as much as anything too, from him is just what you need. It's been a while since we've had a starting point guard that plays like consistently good, hard defense, And Dame, we excused it because he carried our entire freaking offense. It's really cool to see the way Scoot is playing defense right now.
Yeah. So what I want to see, though, when the offense struggles, I want to see this team maintain or try to maintain the same level of energy on defense. And hopefully at some point you just become a good defensive team and it's not reliant on like good things happening. And I'm not saying it's 100% that, but hopefully, because they're going to have a bad offensive game soon, and we'll have to see how they do if that starts to affect the defensive end as well.
Well, let me just say this. I think their offense feeds off their defense, so it's kind of like a catch-22, which comes first.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both kind of go hand in hand for better or worse.
Yeah, but see, the defensive effort is something, no matter how offense is going, you can provide that level of defense, right? And I know it's hard to like do that consistently, because if you're like 1 for 10 shooting and everything's going wrong, you're turning the ball over, it seems like you can't get by anyone. Like if you're just having a frustrating offensive game, it does usually seep into your defense. But in theory, it shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't have any difference of defense from game to game, from possession to possession, or anything like that. It should always be there. And hopefully that's, if I'm Chauncey right now, that's the point I'm hammering home with this young team, is that we need to have this defensive attention to detail and stuff like that. Moving forward, this has to be the base level of our defense, not the, oh, wow, when we're playing good, look how good our defense looks. It needs to look like this a majority of the time, in my opinion.
Yeah. The thing is with Scoot, too, he doesn't really seem to be rattled by mistakes. I don't think his effort has dropped off when he's made mistakes, which is something we haven't been able to say in the past. He's also still shooting the ball confidently if he misses his first couple of shots. And there's some times where he just doesn't shoot enough, I feel like. But in this game, he was, 4 for 12? 4 for 12, and then what did he finish at? Let me pull up the box score here. He finished 7 for 16. Was 3 for 4. His final 4 shots, remained aggressive. And he was a plus 27 in this game. And I think it's just the defense and the passing, the playmaking, 7 assists, 3 turnovers. I've always said if he just has a greater than 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, I'll accept the turnovers. So that's been better. And then Avdia, it's just guys that don't need to make a ton of shots to affect the game positively, right? Avdia was only 2 for 8, had 11 points. But he had 5 assists, 5 boards, only 1 turnover, so he took care of the ball tonight. That's been a little bit of an issue. He also got to the line 8 times. He was 7 for 8 from the free throw line and contributed immensely defensively. And that's the hope, is that the Blazers can have a team full of guys where on one night it might be Avdia, on one night it might be Scoot scoring, right? Scoot's going to set the table for guys consistently, but it might not be a 25-point per game every single night for Scoot Henderson. He might be a 19, 20-point per game guy where he'll have his flashes. He'll have his 30-point games. But he'll have games where he just sets the table, doesn't take many shots, maybe doesn't shoot the best, right? But he's still going to have a positive impact. So for the offense, on any given night, it can be a bunch of different guys, but hopefully on the boards, the Blazers struggled this year, and on defense and just overall effort level and energy, all those remain at a high level no matter what, because you got guys that will consistently bring it in those areas, and those areas are controllable. And there is a human aspect to it. If your offense is really struggling, sometimes it's tough to remain at a really high energy level defensively, but do your best, right? Hold yourself accountable, and that's what we're seeing from this team lately, and it's good. And I think Sharp did a little better in this game defensively, played pretty hard defensively, and played 33 minutes off the bench. So, he had a hot shooting night, shot the ball really well in the first half, but it's just the defense for him. That's why he's coming off the bench, according to Chauncey. So, it's like the more this team continues to play hard, the more effort levels will stand out from individual guys. But I've just been very pleased overall with how competitive they've been defensively. And I don't know, man. I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to give up on the tank. They're 19 and 29. I mean, it's going to be really tough to get top 5 odds. The thing that's tough with this is they're also, they're not going to make a play-in.
They're stuck in the middle, yeah.
They're stuck in the middle, but at least it's coming with young players playing well. At least it's coming with Scoot taking a step. If Scoot continues to struggle like he did earlier in the year, this team probably has 3 more losses right now. His play has helped this team win games. That's the thing. It's tough to root for oh man, we want Scoot to be the best player possible, but we want to lose as many games. That can kind of negatively correlate with each other, right? Scoot playing better is going to help you win basketball games. So, the Blazers right now, they're still 5.5 out of the play-in. It's too far back to even have that conversation. If they get within 2-3 games, sure, I guess. Just look at this upcoming stretch of basketball.
We do play Phoenix twice over the next 2 games, so we can gain
and
2
they're
games.
Both at home, man. They're both at home. You're gonna know basically what the rest of the season is gonna look like after these 6 games. Because if they rattle off 4 or 5 wins, then I don't even expect them to really tank. I think at that point maybe you're 3 games back of someone for the 10th seed, and at that point,
keep everyone.
But my big worry with this, Eric, is you can't sit here and keep all the vets because of how well you're playing, because they're not really responsible for how well you're playing. Of course, Simons had a big game against Milwaukee, he's contributed. But Jeremy Grant didn't play in this game. He barely played in the last game. He barely did anything. And there's a lot of wins where we've looked really good where Jeremy Grant is just a non-factor, right? Now, DeAndre Ayton has contributed lately, especially these past couple of wins. But on that road trip, how many of those games did he miss? I know he was out, and this team has been competitive without him. This team is not competitive without Denny Avdia. this team, it seems like, doesn't necessarily need Anthony Simons to contribute. They got Avdia, they got Sharp, they got Scoot, right? Anthony Simons' offensive contributions are always helpful when he does contribute. But like in this game, I mean, how many points did Anthony Simons finish with? I wish he showcased himself a little bit better for Orlando. He was 3 for 9. 3 assists, 8 points, no turnovers, only played 21 minutes. Listen, shout out to Chauncey for playing Scoot 32 minutes, Sharp 33 minutes, and Anthony 21 because Scoot and Sharp were playing better today. But the point I'm making is like, I'm worried that this front office will just, after this stretch of games, be like, oh, we shouldn't move anybody. You know, we're progressing out of the rebuild, which I still think it's too early. But also, it's just like, all right, sure, but these guys aren't really contributing a whole lot. It's mainly Avdia, Kamara, Simons, Sharp, Scoot. Not Simons. Kamara, Avdia, Sharp, and Scoot.
I mean,
and Simons here and there.
Yeah, Simons has been pretty big for the whole month. I'm outside of a few games, but
yeah, I'm mostly just talking about the 7-game stretch.
Yeah, so
he's had 4 20-point games in the 7-game stretch, so maybe it's selling him short. But like he had
maybe
14 against. I mean, he had 14 against OKC. He had 13 against Houston. Houston was a game that they lost. He had 8 points tonight. He missed a game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he missed one of the games on the road trip. Was it the Hornet game?
It was the game before Miami. What game was that?
You kind of rambled on for many different things. Can I just go back to
respond to whatever you want to respond to? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you started off talking about Scoot, and you mentioned how his effort level isn't waning because when he does make a mistake, he's not like hanging his head anymore. I think a key point of that, though, is he's not compounding his mistakes as much anymore either. He doesn't have those runs where it's just like, like, you know, on like consecutive plays. He makes a mistake sometimes or misses a shot, and then that's it. Like next play, he makes a shot or whatever. So like, maybe, you know, it's gonna happen where he goes on a cold stretch at some point. But like, so what I want to see is him play exactly the same way like you're talking about. Still have that confidence to shoot the next one and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's done a really good job about, I don't know how to like describe it, like other than saying learning from his mistakes, but like when he makes a mistake, he's not then making another mistake on top of that and then making another mistake the next time he touches the ball or whatever, and then not getting back on defense and stuff. It's just a mistake, which is normal. Everyone has a turnover in a game, you know, like everyone misses a shot and stuff like that. Like, so he's not letting it affect his game. And I think it's really crucial for him to continue to play that way because he's just way too talented to have it, as Eric Olson put, snowball out of control and then just lose him for a game or whatever. Like, he can fix it in the game in that moment and be fine. So hopefully that's a sign of him turning the corner in that regard of not letting things bother him and just realizing that if you just like hustle back after you turn the ball over, that can make a world of difference in this league. And so I like that. When you were talking about Sharp, I was thinking about this. He's the one guy who I don't feel like it matters how the team's doing. It just matters like what his mindset is. And so like when the team gets all amped up and are running in fast breaks, yeah, Shaden might get a dunk in there or whatever. But like, I feel like his defense is like, he's the one guy that I don't think his defense like amps up or or ramps down when he's doing stuff. He just either has intensity on defense or he doesn't. And I don't really know how to explain that either. But I just want to see him have that intensity more often. And I don't know. He's just such a chill guy. It's like I don't think he gets too high or too low with the team. Whereas the rest of the defense seems to be feeding off of that. And then Ayton, yeah, man. I mean, we know we had this stretch. It was about this time, maybe a few weeks later last year when he started getting really hot offensively. And we'll see if that continues this year. But
there's a member message that sums that up well. I just want to insert this in here. Or no, maybe it was just a comment in chat. Somebody said he just chooses when he wants to play hard. It's basically it. Yeah.
The thing is, like, I'm telling you, he did not play that hard on defense tonight, but like it didn't matter because we were playing the Magic or whatever. But his defensive effort was pretty bad in this game. But luckily, he was a monster on offense. He hit a ton of shots, and yeah. Did you know he was? I don't know because I think got to the line 4 times in this game. Which I think is the second most this season. But going into this game, he had the all-time record, Tori, for least free throws in a game, attempted in a game, or per game basis by a player 7 feet or taller.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's not
of all time, the entire NBA.
All time, yeah. And it's not even like he shoots threes. That's the crazy part. If he was Myers Leonard, where he just sat on the 3-point line and only shot threes, you could kind of understand it a little bit more. But he's not even that. So yeah, that was wild. But I mean, the point about his defense, effort maybe not being that good today, I think like that kind of shows you they're doing a better job around him and not having to rely upon him to clean up a bunch of stuff at the rim.
Yeah. Because there was a couple plays in the first few possessions. One, he just didn't even contest a driving Franz Wagner little 8-foot pull-up. And then forgot what happened on the other one. But it was just like, dude, come on, man. Like, show some effort. And they might have to tweak how far he's dropping and stuff like that. But other than that, man, this team just looks really nice defensively. It's great to see.
And I gotta say this: nobody get tricked by Ayton if he has a really good stretch where he plays decently hard over the next, let's say we keep him at the deadline, like over the next month. Don't get tricked by it. He always does this. Where he will have a really good stretch of like playing okay defense, making shots, effort level's good, he's all happy and stuff, and then it always comes crashing back down to earth. That's how it always happened in Phoenix, and we're starting to see it here where it's like, oh, look, he's a little bit more engaged lately. Chauncey doesn't have to bench him right after halftime because of his spirit, So that's just what I want to say there. Like, I am not buying it. I'll point out when he has a good game, and when his effort is better, I'll point that out as well. But it's never something where it's like, oh, see, if we could just get this Ayton all the time, because you're never going to get that Ayton all the time.
No. Not at all. Yeah.
Not going to get fooled. Do you want to read off the member messages?
Yeah. Chat summary says viewers are discussing the recent performance of Phoenix Suns players Ayton and Sharp. That's pretty cool.
Shane Sharp's a Phoenix Sun, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Michael Kroll, member for 5-month message. This one further cements why the vets need to go in a week. And 3-month member message for Connor Messing. Imagine this young team with a new long-term coach.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get a chance to see that, Tori.
That's the downside of this. Is this organization is gonna overreact, and this is just the Chauncey we've been waiting to see for 4 years.
What what would you do if we found out a few weeks ago that the Blazers actually got a legit offer for Aiden and turned it down because of this last 7 games?
Oh, I'd be so beyond pissed. I'd be beyond pissed, man. I mean, yeah, no.
Shout out to Chapel Perilous for donating 5 memberships. They were gifted to Fun P, Alex Yeo, Ashley Lamont, Blazer Fanaby, and
Ofer
Live.
Livy.
Yes. Thank you, Chapel, for doing that.
Appreciate you, Chapel. You're a legend.
And thanks for the member comments.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all. So, we'll see where the Blazers go from here. The trade deadline's in a week. But, I was talking about Ant. Ant's had 4 20-point games in this stretch. But, the Blazers are winning games as much with, absolutely elite defense. And while Ant's playing hard, I feel like he's one of, the least contributors to that. Just he's not a good defensive player, unfortunately. So
he's low-key been playing pretty good on defense, though, lately. And he also isn't contributing to them not playing good either, so that's always helpful.
I don't think he's, killing them defensively right now like we've seen at times. So that's good for him, yeah. I agree. That's good for him. He's had 4 20-point games in this stretch. He had one game he missed, and that was a win. I forget who that was against. It was the game before Miami. Oh, I think it was Chicago. Was the game that he missed before Miami. The Blazers won that game. Scored 14 on 3 for 10 shooting against OKC. That was as good of a game as any during this winning stretch because that's the best team in the league, and they scored 108. 8 points tonight against Orlando. They still destroyed them, right? Ant helps in games he makes shots, but we've seen this team have some pretty competitive games lately, even when he hasn't. And I think it's because of the defense and because you're starting to see Scoot come into his own. I think that makes it so they don't have to rely too much on Ant. So going forward, it's how much has Robert Williams contributed to this stretch?
Nothing. He had that one game where he played a bunch and had 8 blocks or something, but
yeah, but it's clear. It's all right. You don't need Robert Williams to win basketball games. You clearly don't need Matisse Thybulle. He hasn't played all year. All right. You don't need Grant. Grant's barely contributed to this stretch. Right. So at least those guys you got to move, and then it's all right. You drafted Klingon. Ayton, you always know he's going to revert back to BS, and this is, if he plays with better energy, you can't rely upon him maintaining that level of energy, so you can move off him. And then Simons is that's maybe the last guy of the 5, but you got Scoot coming into his own. You have Sharp, who's had some really bright flashes and has been, I think, a little bit more consistent this season. It's just his role became inconsistent. He got his role changed. So I think it's still very clear what they need to do moving forward. And this stretch does not change that. Now, if the Blazers do absolutely nothing at the trade deadline, people will look at this stretch and say, see, why would they need to trade any of these guys? Look at how well they've been playing lately. They just need to build upon that because they're on their way back to being a perennial playoff team. That's what people will say if they're inactive at the deadline. But this stretch maybe reaffirms that, yeah, you should move on for the vets. Look how well Denny's playing. Look how well Tamani's playing. Look how well Scoot's playing. Sharp has had some good moments. He had his best game off the bench tonight. He was phenomenal. And then Klingon has to clean up fouls, but statistically he's been one of the best rim protectors in the league, and he does the little things, right? And you hope that in year 2 he takes a step and fouls less and is just better. Maybe moves a little bit better, finishes better around the rim, and could be a really, really good center in the league, maybe as soon as next year. Then you add whatever draft pick you get onto that. That is clearly the path that they need to go forward. This stretch does not change that at all. I cannot reiterate that enough. I'm fully expecting the Blazers to be inactive now. I kind of expected that before this stretch. I don't think their vets have that much trade value. And the thing is like with Grant, what have we been saying? Oh, you can pitch to a team. Oh, yeah, he's just in a really bad situation and doesn't really care, blah, blah, blah. The situation doesn't look as bad right now, Eric. The situation doesn't look as bad right now. It almost looks like Jeremy Grant has been holding this team back in a way. You know, is part of the reason he's been holding this team back. I don't know what the Blazers' record is with him compared to without him, but I mean, it's clear he's not really helping this team at all. So outside of maybe one or two nights where he's made a bunch of shots, made a bunch of threes. So I don't know what happens. We find out in a week, thank goodness. I'm just ready to be done with this trade deadline, and I would really respect if Joe Cronin did not overreact to this, did not think that, oh, this means I should be completely inactive, and still did what he needs to do to fully pick a direction at the deadline.
Well, I mean, we can argue any number of moves that we disagreed with or thought the Blazers didn't get good enough value out of. But I think like the main takeaway for me under Joe Cronin so far has been, I don't know what his plan is like long term. And it has been reactionary. It has been short-sighted for the longest time. And he actually changed that this year, heading into the season in his media availability. He talked about this being a case where they needed to do this the right way. They needed to build this up. He actually used the rebuild word and started talking in that way about how it might take a step back to move 2 steps forward. So if you fast forward a few months, like even during this season, he would have agreed that we were in a situation where we still needed to add talent, like he said the last time he spoke. This is a team that needs more talent. And so if he then approaches the trade deadline during that same season with the mindset of, oh, we can't break this up, like I want to see where this goes, and they won 6 out of 7 and all that stuff, I just think that's it's just not following or sticking to a plan, and it will lead to this rebuild, which is starting to look very promising if you just do the right things from here on out to maximize your asset acquiring capabilities with your cap situation and stuff like that, and also clear the deck for some of these guys to continue playing this way the rest of the season. If you do not do that and address those things at this deadline, and you instead are sitting here talking about how like this team has turned a corner and we couldn't break it up now or something like that, I'm going to continue to question what the long-term plan is. And hopefully that is not the case. As long as he makes some moves to trade some of these veterans, at least 1 or 2 of them, we can say, okay, maybe he didn't react too strongly to this, but like, you know, time after time we hear that, oh, I wanted to see how they reacted to losing by 60 points and they really responded well, so I couldn't trade anyone. You know, like, it's like, dude, shut up and stick to your plan and just do what's necessary, and don't be swayed by public opinion, or don't not make a trade that needs to be done because you're worried about what people are going to think about it. Just do what you think needs to be done, stick to your plan, and execute it. And hopefully that we're talking about that, giving Cronin props for just simply doing that next Thursday, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully. I mean, but the problem is Joe Cronin seems very reactionary.
Yeah.
Like he just feels reactionary to me. To me. And part of that is just because he hasn't really committed to a plan one way or the other for his entire tenure. The only thing he committed to was tearing the team down, but he didn't even fully tear it down. You know? So he just feels reactionary. It felt that way after they won 4 games after getting Josh Hart after that trade deadline and, went into the offseason. Like, look how good that team looked. That's the team that Dame needs. And then the following season they end up tanking and getting the 3rd pick. You know what I mean? Because you can't really rely upon Justice Winslow.
I was just going to say, yeah, because we had Justice Winslow.
Yeah. Like,
that was
really,
going to be the difference, yeah.
Yeah, Justice Winslow. Great. So we'll find out, man. We'll find out. But I fully expect at this point. Here's my predictions, okay? They trade Grant. They keep Ayton. They trade Robert Williams III. And that's your deadline.
Yeah.
They keep Simons. I mean, Simons is kind of closer to 50-50. I think it's more likely they trade Simons than they trade Ayton. At this point, I fully expect DeAndre Ayton to still be a Blazer after the trade deadline. And the justification for it is, I mean, behind closed doors is nobody wants his contract, okay?
Yeah.
But the justification for it will be Donovan Klingen's a rookie. He still needs more time to develop. Like, we don't have to rush his development, right? DA's been good as a mentor for him. Like that'll be the narrative. But they will also, what do we hear about the Blazers? Is they want to trade for players, okay? They will keep him and go into the offseason hoping that now that his contract is expiring, they can use it to maybe match something. Maybe they get a first-round pick at the deadline out of Grant and Robert Williams, and then they use that pick, maybe the worst of the 3 picks they have in 2029, that's 2 first-round picks with Ayton's salary, and see what they can add. Kind of like they did with Brogdon in the Denny Avdia trade. And if they can't do that, then I think DeAndre Ayton will be the starting center next season. And they will take it to the deadline and continue to bring Klingen off the bench in year 2. Just like they've been bringing Scoot off the bench, just like they're bringing Sharp off the bench in year 3. That is fully how I expect the DeAndre Ayton thing to play out. And at the deadline, if they suck next season, then maybe they buy him out and he can go play wherever the hell he wants to go play. Right? But if the Blazers are competing for a play-in, and Ayton is contributing in any sort of way, then it's going to be take him into the offseason as an unrestricted free agent in 2026. And then maybe let him walk for nothing because you weren't going to get anything for him anyway. Like, who knows how that would play out. I could see them re-signing him on the cheap. Like, I truly don't think the Ayton thing is going to end anytime this season. I don't think it's going to happen before the deadline. I think there's a chance in the offseason, but I do think there's a legitimate chance that he's the starting center next year. Do you agree with those sentiments?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything. I think Grant and Robert Williams are the most likely to be traded. I think they would be willing to deal Ayton if they got an offer for him. It came out today the Hawks were interested in Nurkic. Could they? I'm just hoping that one team is dumb. You know what I mean?
I just don't think the Hawks are going to be going for it anymore now that Jalen Johnson is out for the year.
Yeah. But they were talking about like Bogdanovich for Nurkic in a first type trade.
Yeah, Bogdanovich looks kind of washed.
Yeah. But maybe they I mean, Aiton's under contract next year. Maybe they look at it like, oh, we can use our expiring Capella and another contract to get Aiton for next year.
Yeah, but I don't.
It's wishful thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but would the Blazers even want to do that? You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know. I don't
Like,
know.
I could see them passing on that trade if they're not getting an asset that helps a rebuild. I feel like they just sit there and say, "Nah, we'll take him into the offseason. We don't need to trade him now, and then maybe we could use his contract for something." Is fully how I would expect them to approach that. Like, I kind of don't think they would just cap dump him at this point.
No, yeah.
Bogdanovich has 3 years left on his contract at 17 mil. So, like, if they approached you with Capella and Bogdanovich for Aiton and, I don't know, Thibault, right? Because the Blazers aren't going to go into the tax. Capella and Bogdanovich make like 19 or 39.4 mil, right? So, I don't know what the package is to keep the Blazers out of the tax, but I think they'd be flirting with it if it was just for Aiton. Regardless, I could just see the Blazers saying, like, we don't want Bogdanovich's contract. We don't need to get off Aiton's contract. Aiton's contract is going to be an asset this offseason. And if not this offseason, will be an asset at the deadline. That is fully 1,000% how they're going to go about this Aiton thing. At this point, I'd be shocked if they traded him at the deadline.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. To be clear, the Bogdanovich thing was rumored for Nurkic in a first, not in a Blazer trade.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because they're getting a first back with Nurkic, right? That's why they want that.
Yeah.
So Atlanta's
not a very good one, though.
With trades. Yeah, I think Atlanta. It makes sense for Atlanta to try and clear the books with their trades. Jalen Johnson's extension
clear anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand how that clears anything. Yeah, but I mean, Nurkic's contract is a year less than Bogdanovich's. Bogdanovich doesn't really factor in. They got a lot of wings. So I don't really know what the Hawks' plan is, but I don't know, man. Shout out to Hutbomb for becoming a starter member. Shout out to Jackson, member for 48 months. Says any front office that this Aiton could actually trick. Oh, any front office that this Aiton could actually trick. Got you. Wording threw me for a loop for a second. I mean, any front office that would get tricked by Aiton would have gotten tricked before this stretch. You know, like it's not even like he's having that great of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, with Aiton, we all know in the new CBA, paying someone with effort issues 35 million plus over the next year and a half is not ideal. So maybe someone looks at it like, oh, even if it goes south, we only have him for one more season and then he's cleared off the books. But I think it would have to be a team that's in somewhat good cap situation.
Yeah. Aiton's had 3 good games. 22, 21, and 22, the last 3 games. Before that, he had only scored more than 20 points once since November. And that was all the way back on December 28th. He had 21 points. So I just don't think it's enough of a sample size that any front office is going to look at this and be like, oh, wow, look at Aiton. He's worth that contract now.
Fun P says, would it be worth trading Robert and Jeremy if the whole team wants to keep them? They're liked by a lot of players. Those that cannot factor into your decision on whether you're building with them or without them. Like, you have to decide if you want them as part of the future, if you want Jeremy at 30 plus million on the books for the next 3.5 years, or if you think it's better for this team long term I mean, did you see the way they played tonight without him? Like, do you think trading him is going to put this team in a funk that they can't get out of or something? Like,
Teammates
I don't.
always like their teammates, so you would never make a move
Well,
then.
especially like we have a bunch of guys on our team. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's a single guy outside of I think there are a couple people who think Aiton's a little fake, but outside of that, uh, there isn't a single guy on this team that people are like, oh, I can't stand that guy. They all get along well. They're all good, nice guys. Like I don't think they have any problem with anyone on this team. And I mean, it sucks. I mean, Dame. How many times did we trade Dame's best friend on the team, Tim Frazier, and
Yeah.
I forgot who else he was friends with, but like we always seemed to trade whoever he was friends with. He was friends with Plumlee when we
Yep.
traded him for Nurk, and then Nurk became his best friend.
Hmm.
Like CJ was his good friend. Traded him as well. Like let's not get it twisted. That's not that shouldn't factor into things. Yes, it's good to have chemistry, and if the players generally like each other, I think that's way more important for like Scoot and Sharp to like each other right now than it is anyone else for them to like a 30-year-old Jeremy Grant.
Yeah. Um, do you know what Scoot's 3-point percentage is after this game?
I'm guessing it went over 35.
35. He's shooting
36.
36.4% from three.
So it is over 35.
It's over 36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Well, it said, I forgot if it was this month or the last 30 games or something, or 30 days. But he was shooting over 51% on pull up threes.
that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not a huge sample, but like doing that for 30 days, especially in year two, it means something for sure. Like, he's definitely progressing as a shooter. And I don't know, man. Like, right now, he looks like he's already at least an average 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Like, we wondered early in the season, like, man, can he be an average 3-point shooter? And then after that, he's gone on an absolute tear shooting the ball. But also, his form looks so good. His shooting form looks so much better than last year. It looks so much smoother. And I don't know, man. It's cool. It's cool.
For sure.
I can finally unban, that Fox dude that always hates on Scoot. I think I can finally unblock him. Because he was like obsessively hating with that dude. And I couldn't stand it. But yeah, I mean, where's the Scoot haters, man? They
Where,
gone. Or they've been enlightened. Which is awesome.
Connor, member for 39-month message. It's crazy how we're doing all this defensive without Matisse Thybulle. And I know you know this, Connor, but for the record, Torian, I don't think Thybulle contributes to a team defensive concept as much as people think he does.
Yeah, he just gambles and then gets stuck out of position, and the Blazers have to scramble to help him out. It's not solid defense. He makes defensive plays, but he gambles too much, man, and people overrate the steals.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So Taylor's asking what's different about his shot, Scoots. It's more compact. It's smoother. He's not jumping super high and then throwing it at the rim. Like,
yeah.
I don't. It just looks like a normal shot now. Like
His shooting elbow doesn't flare out on his follow through the same way it did. Like he's cleaned up that hitch. That hitch I was talking about last year where he I actually have a foam basketball. Maybe I'll grab that as a demonstration tool. All right. So, Scoot last year had a bad habit of like basically on his follow through, he'd like flare his elbow out, kind of like that, and then like pop it in. It was kind of strange. So it was kind of like I don't even know. I can't even do it. But
He had a
flick
hitch
it.
right before he shot.
Yeah. So at a set point, he's kind of here with his hand a little bit on the side of the ball, wrist kind of flat. Right. It's always been the way he shoots, but like Steph shoots like that. You know what I mean? Steph hand on the side of the ball, like wrist is not 90 degrees. But you look at Steph, right? He keeps his elbow in on his follow through. Like his elbow stays in. Scoot had a really bad problem of popping it out and basically pop it out to get his hand through the ball. Now, if you look at his follow through and you look at his shot and you compare it to last year, just look at his shooting elbow. It's a lot more in line with his body. He's not popping it out the same way. That's why that looks a lot better. That's why last year there was times where it's like, man, it looks like his jumper has a hitch. But that's where I was like, that's something that's fixable. That didn't really worry me. Like, he had enough good things in his form that I was never really worried with his shot. And I always felt like he can at least become an average three-point shooter. I think putting work in, improving his form, making his form better, making his form more repeatable. That's the thing. You want to shoot the same way every time. When you're popping your elbow, rotating your elbow out when you shoot, it's hard to mimic that every single time you shoot the ball. So that was key for him. And I wonder, chat, if you guys noticed that difference, but I think that's one of the reasons it looks smoother. And then I think he's releasing the ball a touch earlier, which is why he's having no problem getting it to the rim. And I think those are the two biggest things right now.
Mm-hmm.
Scoot's not going to be any good in the league if he continues to shoot just 43% from the field. Brother, you got to stop looking at shooting field goal percentage number one. Because if Steph only shot threes, he'd still be great, but he'd shoot 40% from the field. Right? But also, Scoot's not going to be any good if he's going to continue to shoot just 43%. Still a bust for now. Brother, he's 20. He's 20. Look at how much his field goal percentage jumped from year one to year two. Now imagine it takes the same leap from year two to year three. You know what I mean? Or even half the leap. Bro, he's 20. He's in year two. What do you mean if it stays the same? He's going to continue to get better. That was the whole point with people that, oh, he's a bust. Look how bad he looks as a rookie. People freaking out about it. It's like he's 19 years old, man. He's 19. He's learning the point guard position as a rookie at the toughest level in the world. Give him some time. Have some patience. I know it's hard to have patience. Especially in today's day and age. Man, I sound like an old head. I know it's tough to have patience with a prospect that has all this hype coming into the league. Gotta have patience with Scoot, man. And to seemingly not have patience with him after this stretch prove that you should have patience with him and let him just figure things out is kind of silly to me. So he still has work to do. You know? If he's going to be a true star, like, he still has to get better at a lot of things. But how much he's gotten better in the past year gives me a lot of hope that, yeah, he's going to continue to improve between 20 and 25 years old. How many years does he have left till his prime? Like, everything I've heard is he works really hard. And you're starting to see the results of it. You don't improve this much without working. He's obviously worked on his shot. He gets after it defensively. He has a competitive edge. So, be patient with him. Especially after this stretch. He's given you enough where you can be even more patient with him.
Adam Smith says he's delayed, but I like Scoot's bass, more quiet, more controlled.
I agree. Anthony,
Anthony.
yes. Yes, I
Let's talk about it, Tori. No.
am. It'll make Reddit mad. Yeah. I played basketball today, actually. So the comment earlier from the troll. If I had $1 every time Tori was complaining like a schoolgirl, and that was the whole entire comment, what? You'd be broke? You'd be rich? You're supposed to finish that. It is only half an insult. Doesn't work. Do better. No, bro, I'd be a billionaire. I always love when people come in and complain about me complaining. It's always ironic. Did y'all see Bailey's game last night? Yeah, he was phenomenal. Shout out to Nathan Rolfe. $8 donation says, am I the only one that thinks Stephon Castle is having a similar rookie year to Scoop, but somehow he is rookie of the year, but Scoop got hate? Let me look up. Let me compare him statistically. I mean, the thing with Castle is he is a phenomenal defender from day one. Like, he's a lot better defensively than Scoop was. But yeah, he's shooting 26% from 3. That was always an area of struggle, but he's shooting better from 2. The turnover issues aren't really as big of an issue, you know. But like, that's the thing, is he's not playing particularly well. He's been pretty rough offensively, but he's barely 20 years old. Like, you know what I mean? The thing is with Scoot is like he had even more hype than Castle, so when he didn't immediately fulfill that hype, especially when somebody like Wemby and Brandon Miller did, then it just looks bad, so people overcorrected, so to say. What is that question? Are you good, Eric?
Yeah.
You're very quiet.
I'm reading chat and then also fixing a few things on my big board.
Yeah, I need to fix a few things because I need to update it. So I'm gonna need you to allow me to fix my big board when you're done. Maybe I can do it at the same time. We'll see. We'll see. I have updated it periodically since we last shared, though. Dude, I really don't know what I want to do after 5 right now.
Yeah.
And it's really rough.
Well, let's just do our top 5 then.
Nah, we gotta go. We gotta go deeper than that, man. You gotta go deeper than that. No pause. Alright. We'll do Tankathon, then we'll review our big boards, and that'll be the stream for y'all. Plan on having Blazers Uprise live tomorrow on our second channel. You can come hang out there. Maybe there will be a big trade tomorrow for us to talk about, but was unable to do it today. Can you guys please go over your top 12 prospects? We're going to go over like our top 30, maybe 40.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's big board night, so that
Come
is
on,
the
son.
point. That is the point. We are going to go over it all. Oh yeah, this guy I need to...
This guy?
This guy I need to move up, that's right.
Who's this guy?
You're
about to find out.
He's just a guy. You're about to find out. Yeah, he's just a guy.
Alright.
Alrighty. Yeah, we'll still do Tankathon. Even though we've won 6 out of 7 games, we'll still do some Tankathon in a second. Alright. Let me load up the Tankathon. I mean, the good news is... Let me put it on the screen real quick. The good news is Blazers still have it's funny how the conversation has changed. The Blazers still have 7th best odds. And they still are not losing a game on Toronto. Toronto is like us right now, Eric.
Yeah, they are.
That's crazy. They've won 5 in a row. They won 7 out of their last 10. It's wild. It's wild. I mean, the Blazers are 5 games behind 4th. 7 games behind 3rd. I mean, best case scenario here, if you want to move up, is 4th. But the Blazers are 5.5 out of play-in. Like, they're 3 games within San Antonio. But I don't think they're going to pass San Antonio. San Antonio might get De'Aaron Fox, right? I think, like, the floor, we'll see what happens with Philadelphia, but they've won 4 in a row, so they're kind of pulling their heads out of their asses, right? Chicago's 10th, and they're about to pass them. So, like, I would expect maybe one of these 2 teams to tank, Philadelphia and Chicago, so I guess the floor would probably be 8. Still give you 26% chance of the top 4. Right now, the Blazers have a 32% chance of the top 4. 7.5% chance of the number 1 overall pick. Could you imagine we win like 37 games and then win the lottery? Kind of like the Hawks last year. That would be the best of both, man.
What the heck? AI chat summary.
What did it say?
We are discussing the latest basketball game and players' performance. They are particularly interested in Klingon's defensive skills and Scoot's lack of offensive game development.
What? The AI needs to do better, man. The AI needs to do better. That's bad. Bad AI. All right, let's simulate this. Scroll up from the bottom. You guys know the deal. At 14, we have Houston via Phoenix. At 13, we have Golden State. At 12, we have Sacramento. At 11, we have San Antonio via Atlanta. At 10, we have San Antonio. At 9, we have Chicago. At 8, we have OKC via Philadelphia. So far, so good. At 7, we have Brooklyn. Which means Portland has moved up into the top 4 along with Toronto. Would you look at that, Eric? The tanking teams that are winning and not giving in to the tank get rewarded. It's karma. It's karma. That's the strategy we're going with this year. Not tanking, karma. All right. Yay. At 6, we have Charlotte. And at 5, we have Washington. So that means you got New Orleans, you got Utah, you got Portland, you got Toronto. Can we get the number 1 pick for once? For once. At 4 is New Orleans. At 3 is Portland. We got 3. All right, give us Ace Bailey.
Ace.
Like, if we get top 3, I'm happy enough if we're sitting there at 7. Like, I really want Cooper Flag, but, you know, like, Ace Bailey looks pretty good right now. Or maybe Dylan Harper's there at 3 at this point. I'm fine with that. At 2 is Toronto, and at 1 is excuse me. Oh my goodness. At 1 is Utah. So Utah gets Cooper Flag. Toronto. Who do you think Toronto would go between Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey?
Harper.
Sometimes I wonder, like, long term, if they're gonna try Scotty Barnes as like the point guard there.
Yeah.
And Ace Bailey would be the perfect big wing next to him, you know? Sorry, that just can really space the floor and knock down shots. But yeah, if you had Harper, you'd have what? Harper, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and whoever their center is. Because they might trade Pirtle. But yeah, man, I mean, the Blazers have a really good end to their season and are looking really good and still move up into the top 3. It's a pretty good scenario.
Yep.
Harper, yuck. Y'all gotta stop hating on Harper, man. He's cold. Y'all tripping. Harper haters are
Oh,
tripping.
okay. I can understand liking Ace more than Harper, but why Yuck?
Yeah.
Yuck makes no sense.
The game started off 10-0. Blazers won by 19 points. They won by 29 points. So they outscored them by 39 points after that 10-0 start, which is insane. Insane stuff. Shout out to Nathan Rolfe for becoming a starter level member. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate you. I do have a feeling. I just have a screaming gut feeling that Con Knippel is going to be a Blazer next year, though.
Dude, Ace Bailey would be so nice for Scoot.
I know. For real. Ace Bailey, you just have to teach him how to play basketball beyond just making jumpers.
Well, I mean, he's
He
a good
plays some
defender.
defense,
Yeah, so.
But like the passing aspect, man.
Mm.
The shot creation aspect, like he should be able to play off his jumper and get downhill. He just needs to get stronger. He needs to improve his handling, improve his footwork when trying to attack guys off the dribble, and then learn how to pass. Because he's averaging less than an assist per game, and he has the ball in his hands all the time. But that shooting off of Scoot would be phenomenal. Lob target too. If they drafted Bailey, let's say they traded the vets. Okay, all the vets. If they drafted Bailey, who are you starting next year?
I might have Bailey come off the bench as a rookie, but I don't know. I would make him earn his spot, but I don't think it would take him too long to do so.
I mean, Kamara and FD are good. If we approach it that way, I mean, Bailey could play good and still not start. Okay, if they draft Cooper Flag, are you starting Cooper Flag?
Yeah, because I think he's such a good overall fit that
He's so
I
good,
think
like you gotta start him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Ace could be that way. I'm saying if he does, I'm not saying oh yeah he's for sure the starter, but if he plays well enough to start, then yeah, absolutely start him. But I think having a 3 forward rotation is, I mean, there's plenty of minutes to go around for those three, so I'm not really worried about the development, especially if it's Tamani and Denny that are playing, starting over him. I mean, you don't have to play any of those guys more than 35 minutes. I will say this, though. If we had Ace Bailey, I think Scoot might be an all-star.
Next year?
Not next year, but like sometime in his career.
I mean, I think Ace would be really nice for Scoot. I think Scoot will determine whether or not he's an all-star, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm just saying like having like a big shooting wing like that, I think would make it very easy on Scoot to do what he does best.
yeah. No, for sure. He'd be a really good fit. Just floor spacer, cutter. You wouldn't really need him to create a lot, but it's like if you're drafting somebody top 3, you're hoping you're drafting like a future star, like a bona fide star. And there needs to be some creation with that. So, yeah.
Uh, Viking Elder God says,
Said,
we not getting Ace, less crack.
yeah, whatever that means.
Oh, okay. I mean, man, you know what I hate every year? The people who just know what pick we're getting before the lotteries even happen. It happens every year.
Like we have a 32% chance of moving into the top 4, but we also have a 0% chance according to these people. Yeah. It's really smart stuff. All right, yeah, this dude is going away. I know who that dude is, yeah. Goodbye. He referenced a specific college earlier.
Ah,
You
no.
get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ace Bailey has the same body as Durant in college. Well, Ace Bailey's like 6'9" and Durant's like 7 feet, but sure, yeah. Maybe Ace Bailey's 6'10". He's listed as 6'10". His measurements will be interesting. Maybe KD's like 6'11". He's a couple inches shorter than KD. We're not Desmond. We're not going to the playoffs. I'll bet you right now. Do I want to make a bet with Desmond, though? Probably not. Brandon Lee with a $1 donation. No message attached, but then a $2 donation is from Brandon. He says, Scoot, Kamara, Denny, Bailey, Klingon, make it happen.
Where's Sharp?
Sharp off the bench? I mean, either way, you're going to have a really good, like, young power of the core off the bench next year. That is all the more reason why you got to trade the vets, man.
Yeah.
But you,
Dude, if we're starting Simons and Grant and Aiden next year after drafting Bailey, like
the fans would revolt, man. The cronies would turn on Crow.
He would push that off on Chauncey so fast.
Yeah.
Can you see if, or maybe you know this already, does BetUS have a odds on us making the playoffs?
I don't know. This one keeps asking, but he could go look for himself.
Yeah.
I'll look, I guess. It's probably very low. You know what lineup I'd be really intrigued by?
What's that?
Scoot, Sharp, Bailey, Kamara, Avdia.
Yeah, you love your Avdia at center. Obvious.
Small ball lineup. That is such a fun small ball lineup, though.
Yeah.
With maybe just enough grit and, like, defensive ability on the interior to make it work. Because, like, Bailey can block shots, man. He's kind of Jeremy Grant-ish in terms of, like, his best role might be secondary rim protector. Although he can defend on the ball better, I think, or will be able to defend on the ball better. I don't know. Desmond, you can go look for yourself. Jimmy Butler's next team, Portland's not on that. Phoenix is the favorite.
Ashley Lamont, Simon still has one more year after this year. He's not a free agent this summer.
Who will break the Jimmy Butler trade news first? Sham Charania is the favorite. Will Kawhi announce his retirement this season? The only option is yes. Strange.
Eric Olson says, Eric, they forget that it's a lottery. Yeah, I mean, we can look at the exact percentages for each pick we get, but, like, to say we're for sure not getting it is not accurate. So even if it's a 1% chance, we still have a chance. But we're not. We obviously aren't banking on a top 4 pick at this point. Like, it's more likely that we're not going to get one with this win streak. So, and we can thank this win streak when we don't get that pick.
Tomorrow, I think we can look at our regular season wins because it's not on here right now. On BetUS, there's a bunch of other teams though. But remember when it was like 22.5 at the start of the year, and that was one of the BetUS promos we showed? I wonder if anybody actually took advantage of that. You'd be sitting pretty right now. They're at 19 wins. And the line was like 22.5, so they got to win 4 more games. What would you put their over-under win total at right now for the end of the season?
Like what they're going to finish at?
Like just what the betting line should be, yeah.
How many games were left? 44. Dude,
34. 34.
And what's the record?
19 and 29. I was going to say 30 and a half.
So they're gonna go 25-9, Desmond. Yeah, I was gonna say somewhere around 30.
Yeah. Desmond, will you admit that you were wrong when they don't make the playoffs? Just a question. Just want to know. We're getting 2 wins off the Sun. Will you admit we're wrong if you were wrong if we don't?
Still need 23 more wins, buddy.
All right. Let me see. Let me make sure I like my big board. I don't like that.
Gage says the basketball gods will bless us for ethically tanking. Hopefully.
We like being ethical. All right, sorry. I'm just looking at a couple more things, and we'll talk big boards, and then we'll wrap up the stream. I just need to look at stuff.
Push it to Saturday.
No. Like I know, the thing is I have my opinions. I just need to make my big board reflect it. You know. So that's what I am working on right now. All right. Are you ready?
Yep. Gray
still
has
have
asked if I'm getting nervous about our bet, and the answer is no.
What was your bet again?
I believe it's 36 wins.
Wow. At game 48, Gray hasn't completely lost that bet yet. They would have to go, what, 17 and 17 the rest of the year. Against a really tough schedule. It's still very unlikely. Yeah, I would not be nervous.
Desmond Ballard with the easy money.
Oh man, I hope
They got that easy.
I hope he's here to admit he's wrong at the end of the year, man. I really do.
Well, I mean, he never admitted he was wrong about the top 4 seed either.
Yeah, now it's just playoffs. He's gonna move the goalpost.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Edgecombe Tory. I think he's going for. You didn't even let me get into my big board yet. You haven't even let me.
God, you stupid sleeper, Tori.
You haven't even given me a chance. We're gonna get into the big boards right now. We're doing right now. Right now, we're gonna do it. All right. Same top 4, Eric. Let's just start there.
Yes.
Okay, so our top 4, both of our top 4s are Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, number 2, Ace Bailey, number 3, Kasparis Yakuchonis, number 4. The question is, do we have the same top 5? Who's number 5 for you?
BJ Edgecombe.
Okay, we have the same top 5.
So you're putting some respect on his name?
He's playing a lot better, man. He's playing a lot better.
Awesome.
So, yeah, last 3 games, 30, 21, 28. He's shooting the 3 ball well, finally. 3-point percentage is up to 39% on the season. The last 3 games, 3 for 7, 4 for 6, 6 for 8 from 3. So he's just figured out his jump shot at the same time Scoot did, I guess. Look at that. Now all of a sudden that pairing doesn't sound so bad, Eric. Remember like earlier in the year where it's like, they have some of the same problems, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it doesn't sound so bad. I mean, he plays great defense. The problem is he just like was super inefficient, and the jump shot was a huge worry, and he had some red flags, but he's shooting the hell out of the ball right now. I am not as worried about his jump shot at all. That's going to make it easier for him to use his athleticism. He's playing really, really good lately. So, like, yeah, the big board is going to reflect how well players are playing. So, yeah, I had him down to like 13, 14. I bumped him back up to 5.
Yeah.
That's why that comment was funny. Don't sleep on Edgecombe. Like, I wasn't even sleeping on him earlier in the season. It was like he was playing legitimately very bad basketball, and until he like turned it around, it was like I can't have you top 5.
Yeah.
Because you just don't look like the 5th best prospect right now. So now he does. Now he does, and honestly, like he keeps playing like this, man. I might put him above Yakuchonis. I think that's a debate at this point. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We'll do the 5 teams, or the 5 players at a time. My next 5 are kind of boring if you've seen my previous big boards, so I don't know.
Go ahead, then.
Have changed. All right. At 6, I have Jeremiah Fears. At 7, I have Derek Queen. At 8, I have Trey Johnson. At 9, I have Yegor Demon. He's had a couple good games of Big 12 play finally, so that's something I'm looking for. And then 10, I have Cam Jones, who I've been high on all season long.
All right, I have Trey Johnson 6, Jeremiah Fears 7, Boogie Fland 8, Yegor Demon 9, and Derek Queen 10.
All right, so you have Boogie Fland instead of Cam Jones. Boogie Fland, unfortunately, out for the season.
Yeah.
There's some things I wanted to see out of him. I've knocked him down a bit because of it.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, obviously that's going to affect probably some of his rankings. Hopefully he can participate in the draft process.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Demon, as I said, he's coming off back-to-back 15-point games. He's still passing the ball really well. He just struggles against better athletes. That's a big worry coming to the league. But 6'9" and can pass the way he does, and I think he'll be able to get stronger and maybe use his body better. I still think he has some of the most upside at the back part of the top 10. So, you know, if you're drafting for upside, he has the potential to really bust, because I just don't know if he's quick enough or strong enough or has a good enough handle to be able to actually make anything work against NBA athletes. He's struggled against better teams in college basketball, but he does have good vision, good point guard instincts for a 6'9" guy. And the three-point shot, I think the past couple of games, let me pull up his game log, has been better, because that's a question mark with him. He's shooting 29% from 3 on the season, but was 3 for 5 against Cincinnati a couple games ago, 1 for 5 last game. So it's like, if he can shoot, get stronger, be able to like deal with athleticism, use his 6'9" frame and like pass, yeah, that's a ton of upside. But if he can't shoot, isn't that athletic, like can't make his game work off the dribble against better athletes in the NBA, like he could be out of the league in like 3-4 years.
Yeah, to me, I look for high IQ vision, stuff like that, which he has shown, even if it was against the lower competition he played. And that, you know, when you're an 18-year-old playing this competition level for the first time, I'm pretty sure he didn't play like AAU or anything like that in the circuit over here. He just came over here for college, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this is his first time playing against competition like that. So, I think he'll start to figure it out. I do agree that he does have some bust potential, but I don't know. Anytime you have that size and that passing ability, I think you can make yourself useful enough if you continue to get stronger and learn how to play good soccer.
I just think like the struggles against better competition go beyond just like his first time playing against it. I think it just goes to the like, all right, you're not as big. You're not as big, okay? And guys are stronger, and he's not a great athlete, and his handle isn't like tight enough, and he's dealing with defenders that are quicker with their hands, can pick his pocket, bother his dribble more. And it's just like, can you clean that up enough, especially taking another step to the NBA level? That's the worry for me with him. So I go back and forth on where to put him. He's a tough one. Trey Johnson had a huge game comeback against, I believe it was either Texas Tech or Texas A&M. It was one of those two schools. Texas came back from a huge deficit in the second half, and he had like 24. Got to the line a lot. It's just like, can he get downhill? Can he put pressure on the rim? Because he's a gifted shooter. Shoots a lot of tough jumpers, but makes them, So it's just like the lack of creation upside is why I don't have him a little higher. He produces at the college level, but I just think like his game is the type of game that could be more relegated towards like, oh yeah, you're gonna be a sixth man type of guy. You're gonna hit some tough jumpers, microwave score. I just don't know about his creation chops or his defense.
Yeah, or he's the next Devin Booker.
Yeah, or he's the next Devin Booker. I mean, he does have some book in his game. So yeah, he's another tough one. That's everybody I wanted to talk about from that range. Do you want to move on?
Yes, please.
All right, let's hear your 11 through 15.
All right, I got Asia Newell 11, Cam Jones 12, Nolan Traore 13, Ben Seraph 14, and Noah Sangwe at 15.
All right, I have Asa Newell 11, Kamal Maluak 12, Danny Wolf 13, Colin Knipple 14, Liam McNeely 15. I clearly go back and forth on Danny Wolf, but I mean, just that skill set in a 7-footer is just so unique, and you could do like so many creative things with him. I just think it's a really good piece to have on a team.
Yeah.
And I mean, a 7-footer that can handle like that, has the playmaking he does, shooting ability, like craftiness. There's always a level of upside there that's intriguing. And he's barely 21 years old. He's been in college for 3 years, but it's not like he's Dalton Connect, where he's 23 on draft night. So he's an intriguing player, shooting 36% from three, averaging 12 points, 10 boards, 4 assists per game in 28 minutes. Yeah, he's a fun player, man. So been quiet the last 3 games, but he's had enough flashes that I like him a lot.
I don't think Newell is as good as Lively, but he is like a Lively-esque type player, and those type of players are always useful. The
Are you just
rim
saying that
running,
because they look alike?
I mean, they do look alike. It's
They
hard
really
to
do.
like not see it when he plays, but he also does play a lot like Lively did at Duke. So you do see a lot of the similarities. It's just he obviously has a little more opportunity to do things because he's not on a team with like 6 other All-Americans.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah. I think slightly smaller,
yeah,
smaller, but moves better with his dribble. Maybe he has some upside there that Lively doesn't.
Yeah.
And then both Newell and Lively in college were like, maybe they can develop into a shooter. Lively doesn't need to, and I don't have much faith in him doing so. I think Newell, that'll be a little bit more important for him. So it'll be interesting to see if he can become a legit shooter from 3.
Yeah.
Ben Knipple, he's just very solid. Just a solid shooter. He's not a flashy pick. He's shooting 37% from 3 on over 6 attempts a game. He's shooting 87% from the field. 87% from the free throw line. He's 6'7". Like, he can occasionally make a play off the dribble. He's not like a great athlete or anything, but he's just solid. Doesn't really make a ton of mistakes. Plays his role pretty well. So could be a really good role player on the team. And if that Shot is legit. It's always nice to have a dude with the size to play the three that can hit the three and then do anything off the dribble. So,
Hmm.
all right, do you want to go 16 through 20?
Yes. At 16, I have Malawak, 17, Joson Sainin, 18, Colin Murray Boyles, 19, Liam McNeely, 20, Colin Knipple.
All right. How's Sanon shooting lately?
His 3-point percentage is still in the mid 40s, I think. It's obviously down a little bit from 50% or whatever he was shooting most of the
Yeah.
season, but still good.
Do you
But he
like
has.
do you like him for like more than just his shooting?
I do think he has some potential eventually to be kind of a combo guard who can handle the ball a little bit, but um, and his defense is okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. So I just think he's solid all around. And then he's got the shooting to boost him.
Yeah, yeah. I think like for me, he's one of those guys that should probably go back for
Hmm.
another year and like round out his game. Cause I know like looking at his game, like last 6 games, he's been very quiet
I
and
would
hasn't reached double figures in his last 6. So
I would like to see his measurements. I mean, if he's like a legit 6'5", I think like him a lot more than if he measures like 6'3.5" or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He
If he's
was
like Anthony Simon's height.
he had a stretch there where he had 6 straight games with at least 18 points. It was like shooting an insane three ball.
Mm.
Just yeah, like I've taken him off my board because it just seems like he's come back down to earth, and he's one of those guys that like should probably go back another year. Just to I want to see him do more as like a playmaker, shot creator.
Mm.
More than just the three stuff. Like more than half of his shots are, or about half of his shots are threes. So hasn't shot a free throw in 6 games. So that sort of stuff is something that I think he could be like a really intriguing pick for me at least. Like if he can improve upon that stuff and be one of those like he would be the type of guy that would be maybe a year 2 breakout. We see that all the time with prospects. Tyrese Halliburton was that. So definitely a name to keep an eye on.
If
My go ahead.
If Quayton stays too,
Yeah, that'd be a fun team.
yeah, you never know now with that who's gonna stay. They both transfer to Duke or something.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be yeah, for real. Freaking transfer portal, man. Would like to see them stay at Arizona State. My
Or the Gonzaga.
please, please, we need players, man. Please help us. All right, my 16 to 20. 16, I have Carter Bryant. 17, I have Sergio De La Reyna. 18, I have Hugo Gonzalez. 19, I have Boogie Fland. 20, I have Rasheer Fleming. Is Carter
All right.
Bryant or Sergio De La Reyna make an appearance in your top 40?
No, Carter Bryant. I don't know what to do with him yet. I see why you have him up high. I don't know yet.
I think he's the type of player, if he goes to a team that knows how to develop players, like he will end up being really, really solid.
Yeah.
Because he's 6'8", he's shooting 39% from 3 on 2.5 attempts per game. He's only playing 16 minutes a game on a talented Arizona team, but he's averaging 6 points. Like, he moves well, decent athlete, right?
Yeah.
Seems like a solid defender, so, like, 3-and-D with some extra juice, and I just feel like he's just scratching the surface. He's one of the guys, like, if he goes back, he is a year 2 breakout candidate for sure.
Yeah.
I just think, like, if he ends up on a team that doesn't know how to develop players, like, he might struggle, but, like, if he ends up on the right team that knows how to develop guys, I feel like they will find a way to mold him into something that's really legitimate, so that's why I have him that high.
Yeah.
And then
And
De La Rey.
De La Rey, I just haven't scouted enough to feel confident to put him that high. So
Yeah, so
I just
he's
have him in my group of guys like at the back of the second round that I just don't have
yeah.
enough info on yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like legit 6'6", like really impressive passer. Also, right now he's shooting 47% from 3, and he has like some craftiness offensively. He feels like they're completely different players, but you remember Koulibaly's draft year, like he wasn't really known at the start of the year, and then like this time he was starting to sneak into like the first round up to like 20ish, and then he ended up going 7. You know how there's always like a couple, a player like that
Yeah.
every draft. I feel like he is that player. Like if there's a player that's was second round a
Hmm.
month ago that's gonna sneak into the lottery, I think it's him just because like
Yeah.
I don't know, like from the tape that I've watched, I kind of feel like he's better than Topic.
Hmm.
I was never a big Topic fan, but the thing is with Topic, like he just was not a good 3-point shooter, and I don't trust his 3-point shot. Like De La Rey looks like he should be a solid 3-point shooter. Playmaking looks similarly special. I don't think he has the same like first step, but I think I would take the shooting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm ready to go there. Like Topic had so much buzz around him, and it's also been a while since I've watched Topic tape, so maybe that's why I'm sleeping on Topic now. But De La Rey, I'm interested to see.
Nice.
I will make it. I'm setting a goal for you. Just look into De La Rey before our next big board because he's the type of
Okay.
guy where I'm just curious to see what you think of him.
All right.
Any players 16 and 20 that you wanted to talk about
No, I
on your
pretty much
board?
mentioned all of them.
Cool, cool. And we can wait until I say them if too.
All right, who's your 21 through 25?
All right, this is where things start to get like I don't really know what to do. Like 5 to 10, 5 to like 13, I don't really know what to do, and then like 20 to 25, which is basically more than half the first round. I'm not confident in, but 21, I have LeBaron Philon. He's struggled lately, so he's dropped on my board. 22, I have Colin Murray Boyles. 23, I have Adu Thiero. 24, I have Jace Richardson. 25, I have Cannon Catchings.
All right. Uh, my 21, I still believe in Zvonimir Visic. 22, Hugo Gonzalez. 23, Andrei Stojakovic. 24, Xavier Lee. And 25, Ian Jackson.
Who'd you say at 22 and 23?
Hugo Gonzalez and I have to add him in here, but Andrei Stojakovic.
Stojakovic, yeah. I've seen multiple people say that Tomislav is better than Zvonimir. So when you said Zvonimir, I don't, I don't remember if I asked you this, but like, what do you think Zvonimir is better at than Tomislav, who's his brother, who plays for Illinois?
Um, well, one isn't he younger, or who's the younger brother?
That's a good question. Let me look at Tankathon. So Tomislav, draft age 21.8, Zvonimir 21.8. They're twins.
Oh, okay. Um, I mean,
Zvonimir shooting better from 3.
yeah, I mean that's the most obvious thing. I mean, maybe I've just seen the wrong games, but to me, I just like Zvonimir's like feel for the game, his passing IQ, just the way he plays the game and understands it. I think is at a higher level,
Hmm.
but maybe it's just not. Maybe I just need to give Thomas Love more credit for that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting having two twins in this draft that are both kind of unique bigs to compare. Because yeah, I'm wondering like Avicius does get to. I mean, they both get to play next to good, solid guards. Avicius's team is better, I think. You have Yakuchonis you can play off of. He also, yeah, he plays 26 minutes a game. Just an interesting comparison. So do you have Cannon Catchings in your top 40? We can
Uh,
wait to talk about him.
I have him in my low 40s, but he's someone that's I've moved up to my low 40s recently. Yeah.
So he's just like he's a shooter, man. He's
Yeah.
6'9". He hits like step back threes, like crafty step back threes and stuff, and
Mhm.
moves fluidly. Like he's not like a great athlete, but like he's athletic enough and moves fluidly, and has some off the dribble game, and that's intriguing to me. In terms of like, all right, what could his upside be if you get a 6'9" dude that moves well, can shoot, can do a little bit off the bounce? What can you mold that into? He's, I don't know what his age is on. Damn, he's not even on Tankathon's big board. It's ridiculous. I think he's like 19. Yeah, he's 19. Born on January 1st, New Year's baby. 2020 or 2005, so he's barely 19. So he'll be
Yeah.
19 when for the first couple of months of next season.
Wait, did you say 2005?
Yeah, 2005.
January 1st?
Oh, why is because
That's
searching on Bing, it says 19 years old. Cannon Catchings is a basketball player born on January 1st, 2005 in Indianapolis. He is 19 years old.
20 years old, right?
Yeah, it is 20 years old. You're right.
Uh,
They lied to me.
yeah, so I've I've been intrigued too by him. It's always hard for me when you see the free throw percentage and but then you realize it's off 37 attempts. So like
Yeah.
like he makes a few more and it's like that's probably not a concern, but like, if he's a shooter, you'd like to see that be higher,
Yeah. He
but
shot
he's not getting the
97
line either.
threes, though, so that's like
Yeah, no,
two
it's
and
a
a half
decent
times
amount.
as
Yeah.
much. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
And then, you mentioned his off the dribble game, but I mean, basically a 1-to-1, but one less assist than turnovers. So, like, he's not really passing much out of that. So,
Yeah.
just want to see him improve maybe that a little bit. And then, but yeah, definitely someone to keep your eye on.
And then Jace Richardson, do you have?
I have him at 37 right now. Also, just moved him
Okay.
way up from
We
the
can
back of my.
we can wait to talk about him then. All right. 26 to 30. I don't even. Well, actually, I have somebody that is new at 30, so I'll let you go 26 to 30. Unless you have somebody. No.
I mean, we've talked about. I don't know how new this is, but I have Isaiah Evans at 26. Your favorite player, Thomas Sorber, at 27. Yoxel Lendeborg at 28. LeBaron Philon at 29. And Rasheer Fleming at 30.
Alrighty. At 26, I have Noah Sengwe. At 27, I have Nolan Traore. At 28, I have Neek Clifford. At 29, I have Ben Seraph. And at 30, I have Alex Condon.
Man, you're low on those guys.
Yeah, I'm low. I'm low on Traore and Seraph right now. But like those are the type of guys I revisit at the end of the year and like, yeah, maybe I ended up being a little bit too low on them. I'm not a Seraph fan though. I've been saying that all season. And then a segue is hard for me to figure out. I don't really know what to do with them. So right now, when I find a player that I like more, it's easy to put him ahead of segue. But Yeah, we'll see. But Alex Condon is my new sleeper, Eric.
All right.
My new sleeper. So he plays for Florida. I've been
Mm,
saying all year Florida is cold. Like they're good, man. Um, three three guards and then like solid bigs in like three electrifying guards. They are like they've had games where they just get hot on like both sides of the floor and will beat good teams by 30. And Alex Condon is part of that. So he's from Australia. He's from Perth, and he's I think listed as. Let me see what his listed height is.
That's 6'11", I think.
Yeah, 6'11". He moves well, blocks shots, good passing feel. It just seems like an all-around big, and he's shooting 42% from three this year, 1.3 attempts per game, only 26 attempts. So, like too small of a sample size to have that much hope in, but it's like, all right, I could just see him being a big that can shoot, pass the ball, move well, block some shots. In 26 minutes a game, he gets a block and a half per game, where maybe he's not like super special at any one thing, but like he's a really, really good role player because he does a ton solidly too good. I just could see him making a mark in the league in a couple different ways. So I think back end of the first round, I think he's a good pick. And I've been like since our last big board, he was a guy I started looking into because I've been a fan of Florida this year and started paying more attention to him. And he's a guy that I've liked for a couple weeks now, and he's starting to rise on some other boards. Like ESPN had him at 36, so he's one of those guys. Eric, I like him.
Yeah.
And didn't talk about him early enough. Now he's starting to rise on boards. So
Yeah.
always happens.
Yep. Interesting. I like it.
Do you are you like familiar with him? Like, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I've seen Florida a few times. Yeah, I mean, it, I don't know. I still you just see a little more of him. But yeah, I have him towards the back end of the second round, still in that group of guys I don't know what to do with,
Yeah.
but yeah,
He's just like one of those guys where if he wasn't playing on such a good team, it feels like he could be doing a little bit more.
hmm
But like he knows how to play with really good guards, and that's how it's going to be in the NBA, of course. So I think like he needs to get a little bit stronger. But other than that, I think the way he plays translates pretty easily. So yeah, he's an intriguing player, but he could be one of those guys that goes back and has a big year three. All right. 31 to 35. You want me to go first?
yeah, go ahead.
All right, 31. I have Andrej Stojakovic. 32, I have Xavier Lee. 33, I have Ian Jackson. 34, I have Maxime Reynaud. And then 35, I have Dink Pate.
All right. I have Tyrese Proctor at 30,
31?
or 31, sorry.
Yeah.
Noah Penda at 32, Hunter Salas 33, Miles Bird at 34, and Junie Mobley at 35.
You said who? Who at 35?
Mobley from
Oh,
Ohio State.
from Ohio State. Yeah. Interesting. I need to watch more Mobley. I need to watch more Mobley. I need to watch more Ohio State. I've never liked Ohio State's basketball team. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why. They've always bored me. But so I find like I still think Xavier Lee is slept on, even though I moved him down to 32.
Yeah.
A lot of boards have him like late second or undrafted.
Yeah.
Reynaud, that Stanford center, is another one of my big men sleepers. I feel like I like a lot of big men in this class, which is funny because I think like consensus it's not the greatest big man class, but like this range, I think especially like Danny Wolf's on the board, Condon. I think you're gonna definitely have a sleeper big taken in the late first, early second, and Renaud is interesting player, 7'1". Let me look up his stats. Averaging 20 points per game, 12 boards, 2 assists for Stanford right now. Shooting 35% from three, 75% from the line. Yeah, just could be like a big man that he doesn't average the greatest block numbers, but he's 7'1", can shoot, can put the ball on the floor a little bit, moves decently, and that's an intriguing piece, I think.
Yeah.
So I like my big men that might be able to shoot, might be able to drive a little bit, and move well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my archetype of big. Anybody in your range that you want to talk about?
I think Miles Bird has had a couple of big games recently. Someone to keep an eye on. But yeah, other than that, not really.
Miles Bird gets a lot of hype. Like, there's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
does.
of people that for some reason have him like top 10. But we're talking about Twitter
Yeah,
people, so they always
yeah.
have wild takes. But like all of them love Miles Bird.
I mean, he's got good size if he's a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, intriguing.
Averages almost 3 assists a game. 36% from three. He's just 40% from the field.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more just people are reacting to the big games he's had recently. He did struggle earlier in the season to shoot, so
Yeah. He had 0 points against Gonzaga. That's all I know.
yeah. All right, what rounds out your top 40?
All right. 36, I have Miles Bird. 37, I have Will Riley. I'm getting closer to just take Will Riley off my board because he should just return to school.
Mm-hmm.
But I have Miles Bird 36, Will Riley 37, Isaiah Evans 38, Hunter Salas 39, Janai Broom 40.
All right. I have Danny Wolf at 36. 37, I have Mackenzie Mbako. 38, Jace Richardson. 39, Will Riley. 40, Nate Clifford.
Alrighty, so Jace Richardson just seems like he's just solid, man. He shoots a decent three ball. Like, he's undersized, but he shoots a decent three ball. Can do a little bit off the dribble, like crafty. Doesn't really rely on it. Doesn't really make mistakes. 22 minutes a game, averages only 1 turnover, 2.1 assists. He just seems like one of those guys that's not the most like impressive college player, but comes into the league and it's just like, oh, he can serve that bench shooter role that can like handle the ball a bit and run the offense a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Play on or off the ball, and he's not gonna wow you by scoring 25 points per game or anything like that. He's not gonna maybe even contend for Sixth Man of the Year awards. I just feel like he's one of the highest floor prospects late first into the second round. So that's why I had him like 24, just because I think at that point, a lot of these winning teams at that point in the draft, well, a lot of those picks have been traded, so who knows. But if you're valuing somebody that can come in and just be solid, maybe a depth piece, I feel like he's right up there.
Like maybe a Tyus Jones type.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
Yep.
Like maybe a mix between like Tyus Jones and Jared McCain even. So, yeah. Jared
Just
McCain.
a little smaller than McCain.
Yeah. So, I mean, the size worries me a little bit. I just think like he'll find a way to be a backup, like a solid backup guard.
Yep.
The tough thing with that is always like how high do you rank that compared to
Right.
your Dink Pates and like your
Yeah.
Cameron Catchings, like raw upside prospects. So, I'm down to go to 45.
Yeah.
What is on your board, 41 to 45?
I freaking hate my board. This is where it gets into the.
I know. That's why I want to hear it. That's why I want to hear it. I'll say mine first if you want. Because I
Sure.
don't know. All right. 41, Rocco Zakarsky. 42, Thomas Sorber. 43, Max Shulga. 44, Kobe Brea. 45, Noah Penda.
Um,
And then it's just a mess, unsorted mess after that for
yeah.
me.
Um, so I have uh 41 Kenny Catchings, 42 Alex Caravan, 43 Ding Pate, uh 44 Donnie Freeman, 45 Joni Broom, Jonai Broom, however you say it.
Yeah. Cool, cool.
Wait, did you say Thiero at all? Did you drop him
Yeah,
completely?
no. I set him at 23.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah, I
right.
had
That's-
Phylon, Murray Boyles, Thearo, Jace Richardson, Kenton
Okay,
Catchings. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, no, I'm still a Thearo believer. You don't have Thearo in your top 45, huh?
No, I'm not a big Thiero guy. I just I struggle with those very limited offensive players.
Yeah, I just think he plays terrific defense and is a phenomenal
Yeah,
athlete and like driver. Like
yeah,
basically you take him, hope that you can develop him into a shooter. If you develop him into a shooter, you got a really special fun role player.
for sure.
You know what I mean? So like I'm down to take that gamble in the first like late first round. I think there's
Yeah,
a number of prospects that end up being sleepers that were like good defenders, solid athletes in college, but didn't really shoot the three ball well and kind of figure out their 3 point shot when they get to the league and end up being steals because of that. So I feel like he could be that next guy there. At least that's my hope.
yep.
Alrighty, that is our big boards. Let us know what you think of our big boards. Whose big board do you agree with more? You can let us know in the live chat. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. I want to run threes at the park with Terry Rozier and Jonte Porter. That's crazy. The Terry Rozier stuff is crazy. Why do NBA players do that? Why you're making millions to play basketball and you're gonna risk your livelihood and like your life because it's very illegal? Why? I don't. How much are you really making off that? Do you really
Well,
need that money? Like, it's just so stupid to me, dude.
yeah.
Eric in the first round, Tori in the second. Nice.
I'll take it.
Arthur Kaluma or Jameer Watkins? Jameer Watkins. Jameer
Yeah,
Watkins is still draftable to me.
Arthur Kaluma. Come on.
Jameer Watkins, I
Are we
had at
back in
40.
2022 or something?
Jameer Watkins, I have at 46. By the way, I still think he has a chance of being a solid role player in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just one of those guys where it's like, why are you still in school? You know? Because this year it's like, he doesn't even look any different to me this year. Like, he's still hit or miss with his 3 point shot. Florida State isn't good. His scoring went up by 2.5 points. Like, 3 point percentage went down from 34.4% to 34.3%. So he's literally the same dude. But yeah. And then other like deep sleepers that are intriguing to me right now: Michael Ruzic, Bogoljub Markovic, Sion James, Hanson Yang. Looks like he's going to enter the draft, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Is there any other like deep sleepers that you didn't have in your top 45 that you're intrigued by
Um,
that could rise?
I am starting to look at Joan Behringer a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen his
The
name
train.
here
Yeah,
and there. Yeah, you're starting to get into the international guys finally.
yeah, trying to.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, it's this year's weird because there's not. I mean, I guess there are some up there, but a lot of them came over here to play, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to scout them when they're playing college ball. But yeah,
Have you looked at Hannes Steinbach yet? Oh
uh,
man.
not extremely.
You should just look at him and just see like how not NBA level he is, and yeah, I mean no shade towards the guy. Basically, so on Twitter, NBA draft Twitter, you just have a bunch of guys that I explained this on a previous stream. You
Oh,
just have
that's right. Yeah,
yeah, you have a bunch of guys that just try and outsmart everyone by having just insane draft takes to be different, and they make like 0 sense. And for one player, well, they'll like cherry pick their positives. For another player that has those positives, they'll cherry pick their negatives and just like have just wild big boards, and a lot of it's for attention. One of them we saw this dude named Hannes Steinbach at number 9 on this dude's board, above VJ. I think he was above VJ Edgecombe, and it was just like, dude, what are we doing? I looked him up. He's like 6'8", not athletic, doesn't shoot threes. It's just one of those names where it's like, look, guys, I'm smart. Look at this guy you don't know. Did you watch the post-game interview with Coach? Not yet. I will after the stream. Connor says Tankathon's big board kind of sucks. Look at Connor. Connor's been doing scouting, Eric. I'm proud of him. Oh, that was 20 minutes ago that he said that.
yeah.
My
I'm
chat
so
lagged
say
behind.
your chat is way behind.
But we love that. We love that. Tori, are you scared of Sorber being undersized like me? Yes. And then, like, the offensive, I don't know, the offensive skill, I don't really see either. So I just don't really know what he is. He's just a tweener big to me. Caleb Love isn't an NBA player. He's struggling in his 14th college year. Blazers Uprise, will you be on Suns Valley when they play you guys? Yeah, man. Saturday's going to be busy for me. Today was busy for me. We had to cancel Blazers Uprise Live. Spent like 10 hours in a row working on business stuff, tax stuff. So, yeah, that's what we had to cancel. So we're going to try and do that tomorrow. We'll let you guys know, like, early in the day tomorrow. But, yeah, Carr says I've been trying to watch more college ball lately, and I've been checking Tankathon to see if there's anyone I should be keeping an eye on in a particular game. But they end up missing a bunch of later round guys, so I have to end up asking you or someone else. Anyways, well, there you go.
I
Watch it
love
open to,
when
like,
people like Connor
video.
does that too, and then I think Connor's looking for, and this is, I don't know what the best website is for this, but just a website that would list a big board and you could organize it by school or search for school and then just be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm watching Michigan State versus Iowa and just look up if there's any guys on the team that are on draft boards. But what I'm intrigued from when someone like Connor gets into it and stuff is when if they brought up a name like, oh, I watched this game and this player looked really good, is he on any draft boards? And like he starts to like someone that maybe isn't on the radar, and then
So what you're saying is he needs a Connor guy.
yeah, I want him to watch a game without looking up who the prospects are, and then that's when you gotta then check afterwards. Like if you say, oh, I watched this game and Lipsy from Iowa State was really good. Like,
Yeah,
is he a draft prospect or whatever? Or like, I don't
yeah. Hell yeah. Connor. You need to find a Connor guy. Screw what the other big boards think. Find your own guy. Find your own guy. All right, we're going to try and hit the behind the head shot. Then we're going to get out of
know. All
here.
right.
Can I do it?
Good night.
Can I do it? It's not even on the camera. We are like 0 for 20.
Yeah.
0 for 20.
I have no faith in you. It's not like the
Damn.
Derrick Jones.
I didn't even get that on the camera. It didn't count. I didn't shoot it. Dude, I missed so far to the side. I at least gotta get it in the camera. I at least gotta do that, man, at this point. Dude, where is it going? I don't even understand.
It, sorry, my son's game tonight. They lost 44-6.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
My condolences. That should be motivation. Let it fuel you. That would be my fatherly advice.
Fuel me?
No, that would be my fatherly advice for him. Let it fuel you.
Yeah.
My kid would be weird. Because I'm weird. Anyway.
Your kid will be weird.
Yeah.
It's happening soon, right?
I hope not. I hope not. Blazers got to be good first.
Yeah.
So maybe it is. Because maybe the Blazers are actually good, man. Anyway.
Colt says they still lost by less than the Blazers did to the Jazz.
True.
That is true. Yeah. It did feel like last year Blazers team.
Alex, it ain't happening anytime soon, man. We ain't doing that anytime soon. I finally got like a house to enjoy. I don't want a crying, shitting baby to take care of. I want to enjoy my life, man. So I'm going to enjoy my life. And then one day I will have my future Portland Trailblazer. Or future whatever the WNBA team is going to be named. I'm 6'4", my girlfriend's 5'10" for a reason. Anyway, welcome into Blazers Uprise After Dark.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Hope to see you guys tomorrow, if not Saturday, against the Suns.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked Saturday. Saturday, it's hectic for me. I got a game at 4. My sister's engagement party at 5. So my game's going to end like 4:50. I have to go shower and then show up. The thing is, I didn't even know my sister got engaged for a whole week because nobody told me.
Wow.
Yeah. I was asking my mom
off
about
the market.
that. Yeah.
Sorry, fellas.
You need us.
What?
I'm just gonna ignore it. But yeah, so then after that, I have the watch party with Gabe, Suns Valley, and then I have the post game. So it's a busy Saturday for me. And then I go clubbing after that.
Someone could have been like, "Oh wow, I could be Tori's brother-in-law."
Would you want to be though?
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question.
Yeah.
There's a reason I didn't tell you she got engaged. No, just kidding.
Sheesh.
Just kidding, buddy.
Sheesh. No, I mean, me and my family are close, but we don't talk a ton. We just kind of do our own things. So, yeah. That's what that was. But, yeah, I got text like, we're playing at my engagement party for February 1st or 2nd. I was like, engagement party? What? I didn't even text back because I was confused. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, wouldn't I have been told before you planned the party? Like, I was just confused. And apparently my sister was like, oh, nobody, respond to my text about the engagement party. It's like, oh, now I feel bad. But I was just like, I didn't get told. I shouldn't be the one who feels bad. I'm the one who didn't get told. So I was just confused. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I got a game before that. My weekend league team, Eric, is okay. I should
That's like
talk
the
bad about
the
my team.
randoms. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Let's just say me and one other guy had 90% of our points on last Saturday. So it's a bunch of free agents, and I'm already putting together my team for next season. We're gonna have hoopers next season, but cool guys. So it's just very competitive league, man. And yeah, we lost by like 30. So I'm like Flynn, man. Anyway, anything else?
No, thanks everyone for watching. I don't live very close to Tori, Alex.
Yeah, trust me, I would put this big 6'6" lug nut on my team. I'm just kidding.
All right.
You're not a lug nut. I'm kidding.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks
Eric
for
got
watching.
moves like Chris Kaman for real. For real. That's your comparison. No hair. All right, we're out of here. Shout out BetUS. Thank you guys for tuning in. We might stream tomorrow. I don't know. Work's kind of hectic, but oh wow, nice wig.
Yeah.
We'll be live again on Saturday. You can check out the Suns Valley podcast. 2 games in a row against the Suns. I don't know if I can handle that. But we'll talk trades, and then we'll have a call-in night on Monday. There's literally only 3 games until the trade deadline, which is crazy. So we'll see if the Blazers actually freaking do something. And, of course, if a trade goes down with the Blazers, we'll go live as soon as possible. And we're streaming on the morning of February 6th, trade deadline. So make sure to tune in for that trade deadline live stream. Going live like 8:30 a.m. And, yeah, you don't want to miss that. So
I'm sacrificing my weekend by working Sunday just to be available on Thursdays.
yeah, so if you don't show up, then that's just insulting to Eric.
Yeah.
So you better show up. Doesn't matter what you have to do. Eric is working weekends for this, so call in sick. Or you can go into work and you can put us on in the background. And then if you hear me start yelling, it probably means the trade deadline is over and we didn't trade anyone. And that's how you know. So, anyway, looking forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. Blazers win again. They've won 6 out of 7, which is crazy. They win by freaking 29 points against the Magic today. Scoot continues to shine. Sharp shines as well. Ayton, dare I say it, dominating. And we're out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.